My name is Adaeze, I'm 25 years old, and what I'm about to share with you still feels like something pulled straight out of a suspense film. But it happened to me, every unnerving detail, every twist. I remember it so clearly because that single ride changed how I looked at people forever. Before we dive into this story, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because what you're about to hear isn't just entertainment, it's a chilling reminder that sometimes, what seems ordinary can spiral into the unexpected. That evening, the sun was low, painting the street in soft orange tones as I stood outside my apartment gate, waiting for the online taxi I'd ordered. I was heading to my friend Amoka's place for a quiet hangout, nothing fancy, just a girls' evening filled with laughter, some gist, and late-night food. The driver's name popped up on my screen, Connor, Toyota Camry, black. I saw the car pull up, the headlights flickering slightly as it slowed near me. Everything looked normal. He rolled down the window, smiled faintly, and said, "Good evening, Ma." "Adaeze, right?" "Yes, that's me," I replied, returning the smile. I slid into the back seat. The interior smelled faintly of air freshener mixed with something else, something metallic, like rust. I brushed it off as the smell of the car engine and put on my earphones. The ride was quiet for the first few minutes. He played some old Nigerian love songs, and his voice occasionally hummed along. But I couldn't shake off the feeling that he was watching me through the rearview mirror, not constantly, but enough for me to notice. His eyes would flick up and catch mine, then dart away. I pulled out my phone, pretending to scroll through messages, but I wasn't reading anything. My instinct, that sharp inner whisper we often ignore, told me something was off. About 15 minutes later, we got to my destination. Amoka Street was well lit, but strangely empty that night. I leaned forward, thanked him, and handed him a 2,000 Nigerian Nairas note. He glanced at it, then said casually, "Oh, I no get change oh." I frowned. "Wait, what?" The fare was 1,200 Nigerian Nairas. "You don't have 800 Nigerian Nairas change." He turned to me, his lips curving into a smirk that didn't reach his eyes. "Madam, no be my fault. You fit check if your friend gets more change. Obi make I go find somewhere to break am." The tone, the lazy, almost mocking confidence, irritated me. But more than that, something about his look told me this wasn't a random inconvenience. It felt deliberate. I was about to argue when my phone buzzed, a call from Amoka. I told her I'd arrived, and she said she was on her way down to open the gate. "Okay, wait small," I told the driver and stepped out, expecting him to hand me my balance once she came. But then I noticed something. The car door on my side, the one I had used to step out, was locked again. He had pressed the central lock from inside. I stared at him through the window. "Why did you lock the door?" I asked sharply. He shrugged, still wearing that faint smirk. "Madam, no habit. I just dey protect my car." I didn't like the way he said my car. It carried an edge, something territorial, almost taunting. Amoka's voice came from the gate, calling my name. I waved at her but kept my eyes on Connor. I said, "Open the door." He hesitated, then pressed the unlock button slowly. I grabbed my bag and slammed the door shut. But before I could turn to leave, he said something that froze me in place. "Next time, madam, no dey enter man motor without small change. You fit regret am one day." There was something in his tone, dark, deliberate, like a warning wrapped in threat. I stared at him, my heart thumping. He chuckled softly, shifted the gear, and drove off into the dim street. Amoka asked what was wrong, but I brushed it off. I didn't want to seem paranoid. Yet the man's words echoed in my head all night. The next morning, I woke up to several missed calls from an unknown number. When I finally answered, it was him, Connor. He said, "Madam, you still dey vex for yesterday. You fine, sure. I go like see you again. Maybe I go bring your 800 Nigerian Nairas change that time. My skin prickled. He had no reason to have my number except through the ride app. This was no coincidence. Don't ever call me again, I snapped and hung up. I reported him through the app immediately. They sent an automated reply saying they'd look into it. I didn't feel safe. But that was just the beginning. 2 nights later, I came home from work and found a folded note tucked under my apartment gate. It said, "Next time, keep your change, or I'll come collect it myself." My stomach twisted. I froze there for minutes, gripping the note. Fear mixed with anger. He had found out where I lived. That was when I decided this wouldn't end with me hiding. I called my cousin, Obina, who worked with a local security firm. Together, we set up a small plan. I requested another ride from the same app using a different account, same pickup area. The hope was that he'd take the bait, and he did. When he arrived, he didn't recognize me at first. I was wearing a hoodie and dark glasses. But as soon as he looked closer, his expression changed. He smirked again, leaning against the car door. "Oh, madam, change, no you." That's when Obina and 2 of his colleagues stepped out from a nearby kiosk. Everything happened fast. They approached, identified themselves, and demanded his ID. He tried to argue, but one look at Obina's face silenced him. Inside the car, they found several women's handbags, phones, and ID cards. Mine was among them. My heart dropped. That was his trick. He'd start with small talk, small debts, then track and threaten his passengers later. He'd been reported before, but somehow always slipped through. This time, he didn't. As they took him away, I stood there in silence, the air thick with relief and disbelief. Part of me trembled from what could have happened that night. The other part burned with satisfaction that justice had caught up with him. Later, when I got home, I sat quietly by my window, staring at the lights of the city. Revenge didn't feel glorious, it felt necessary. And sometimes, survival demands that you stop being polite to danger. So if you ever find yourself in a situation like mine, remember this: always trust that small voice in your gut. It might just save your life. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe and share it, because someone out there might need this warning tonight.